Hello, my fellow human beings. Welcome to the art of human beings being humans. We are now in Module 6, the Filipino Concept of Art. And at the end of this module, you are expected to compare the Western concept of art with the Filipino concept of art. Get to know Damian Domingo as the father of Philippine painting. Googling a list of academic Westernized Filipino painters and describe Filipino native designs and color. Let us begin with a review of the previous lesson we had in art. We learned that art in the Western concept has three criteria for a person to be called an artist. First, in the Western world, an artist should be academic, meaning only schooled people who had formal training in an art school can be called an artist. Second, art in the Western civilization is elitist, meaning appreciation and creation of art is exclusive for people in the higher social class. And lastly, art in the Western world is hierarchical. We have high art and low art, major art and minor art, art and craft, fine arts, practical arts, folk arts, indigenous art, and so on and so forth. That's how it is in the Western world. Meanwhile, the Filipino concept of art has no such Western distinctions. For us, everybody and anybody can be an artist, regardless of whether they studied in a formal art school or not, and regardless of their social class. There is no hierarchy or classification, as long as you create and this creation will benefit others. That's how Filipinos are, and we always see art as part of our daily lives. This time, I'd like to introduce somebody who made a mark as a Filipino painter in the Spanish period. His name is Damian Domingo. Let's watch this episode of Showtime in YouTube and find out who Damian Domingo is and what was his big contribution to Philippine art. Welcome back, fellow human beings. Now, let's talk about important points on the Showtime video about Damian Domingo. Damian Domingo was born in 1796 and lived until 1834. That was around 30 years before Jose Rizal was born. Damian was a son of Chinese immigrants converted to Christianity. Because of his mestizo looks, he was thought to be of Spanish descent by the Spaniards. That is why they commissioned him to paint for them. He was engaged by a merchant to paint in miniaturismo style, and he painted albums of people wearing their daily attire. Damian had a vision of making art accessible to the Indios, especially those who cannot afford to study in an art school. This was the reason why he founded the first art school in the Philippines, Escuela de Dibujo y Pintura, or Drawing and Painting School. This is in Tondo, Manila in 1821. His patron was the Sociedad Económica de los Amigos del País, or the Economic Society of Friends of the Country. He became professor and director of the Philippine Art Academy. The academy was closed after his death, producing Filipino artists trained in the Western artistic tradition. Because of these achievements, he was named the father of Philippine painting. His most notable work is called Tipos del País, or country types, where he painted Filipinos in native costumes in watercolor. Painting in watercolors can be difficult. It is a hard medium to master, largely because it can be unforgiving and unpredictable. Mistakes are difficult to correct, and its fluid nature makes it hard to control. Yet, it's these qualities that give the medium its undeniable charm. Here are examples of Damian Domingo's paintings done in miniaturismo or miniatures and in watercolor. These are the OOTDs of the Filipinos during that time. So here's a painting of a lady wearing native attire. Another younger lady, and here's a fish vendor. Here is a painting of two merchants talking, and here is a storekeeper, and here is another young girl. This is a painting of a man selling water. And this is a picture of a farmer. Based on the paintings, I can say that Filipinos are very fashionable, well-dressed, we are neat, and we carry ourselves with respect and dignity. As I said a while ago, the death of Damian Domingo resulted to a lot of Filipino artists being trained in the Western artistic tradition. And one of these academic Westernized Filipino painter is no other than, ta-da! Manny Pacquiao! Just kidding. He is no other than Juan Luna. He was born in 1857 and he died in 1899. Juan Luna finished a Bachelor of Arts degree in Ateneo Municipal de Manila. He also enrolled in the Academy of Fine Arts in Manila. And in 1887, he went to Europe to study in Escuela de las Bellas de San Fernando or San Fernando School of Fine Arts. He won gold medal in the Exposición Nacional de Bellas Artes, the National Exhibition of Fine Arts in 1884 for his famous Poliarium. Since then, he was commissioned by the Spanish government to do paintings like La Batalla de Lepanto or the Battle of Lepanto and El Pacto de Sangre, the Blood Pact. He was also arrested for murdering his wife and mother-in-law, but was acquitted on the grounds of crimes of passion. This is the famous Poliarium, which won first place in the national exhibition. If you look at the painting closely, the first thing we'll notice about this painting is its size. Standing at 4.22 meters in height and 7.675 meters in width, to be precise, no doubt that the painting commands attention and gives off a majestic aura. It is the largest painting in the Philippines so far. Any viewer of this painting will feel dwarfed by the large painting and may feel overwhelmed by the magnanimity of it. The next thing we'll notice about the painting is the rich in colors use. Mostly, the painter made use of warm colors for his work of art, with the reds being a central color that attracts the most attention. As the other's personal experience, the colors are striking and quite unique. The Poliarium depicts an event during the Roman Empire where blooded bodies of gladiators who were drawn as slaves are dragged mercilessly away by men from the wide and powerful arena towards an unknown darkness, and where others tragically killed gladiators are brought. A cheering squad screaming for blood can be noticed from the left side, while at the right side, a woman who is in crouch and seemingly in sorrow. Definitely, the painting shows a tragic event, but it also shows a deeper meaning, especially for the Filipinos during the time of the Spanish colonization. According to some experts, the fallen gladiators who are being dragged in the painting are the Filipinos, while the men dragging them are the representative of the Spanish rule. It is believed that the woman crouched on the right side of the painting is the mother country or Inang Bayan who weeps for the Philippines. The bloodthirsty crowd to the left represents the social cancer on that time. Truly, there is more than meets the eye when it comes to the painting's Poliarium. It currently hangs in the main gallery at the ground floor of the National Museum of Fine Arts in Manila, and it is the first work of art that greets visitors upon entry into the museum. Whether you are a foreigner or a local, it will be a great experience and an enriching experience to visit the museum and learn more about Philippine culture and history. But wait, there's more. Another Filipino painter won second place or silver medal in the same exhibition of that same year. He is Felix R. Hidalgo. His painting entitled Las Vírgenes Cristiana Expuestas al Población, or Christian Virgins Exposed to the Population, bagged the silver medal in the Exposition Nacional of that same year, where Juan Luna won. It is a double win for the Philippines in 1884. This was really something, because winning in the exposition had proven that Filipinos were equal with the Spaniards, so that the Filipinos deserve the recognition of other people in the world with equal dignity and respect. That is why Jose Rizal wrote a very heartfelt article in La Solidaridad expressing his pride for the Filipinos' talents being recognized worldwide. Here is another painting by Juan Luna entitled España y Filipina in 1886. One positive way of looking at Filipino identity in the arts is to see Philippine arts as integrated in Western art, and these two traditions are uniting and harmonizing with one another. Here are examples of works of Western-trained Filipino artists. This is the sculpture of the Bonifacio Monument done in 1933 by the artist Tolentino. And of course, who can forget Amor Solo? This is entitled Planting Rice. And Market Scene by Manansala, done in transparent cubism. This is a surreal painting from the Ecology series of 1978, done by Lama Rosa. This is by Hoya, entitled Karate, an example of an abstract expressionism painting. And this is a painting by Albor entitled Upward Duality. This is a color-filled painting. This next group are Indigenous Art made by our local artist who are not trained in the Western tradition but through oral tradition for the purpose of cultural preservation. So this is an example of a tinalak cloth from the Tiboli tribe of Mindanao. This is a banig, no? A base from Samar, Leyte. This is a pastillas wrapper, wow, from the art of Pampanga and Bulacan. And this is from Mindanao, from the Bajau tribes, a vinta, how colorful. And the sari manok design from the Maranaos. Another is the appear design, also from the Maranao. And the Torogan houses in Maranao. Also, they have their brassware with okir design around it. This is from Ilocos, the Burnay jars. And from the Ifugao tribe, we have a native backpack called the Pasiking. This is a Ling O from the Cordillera group. These are made of metal and used as charms by the Cordillera people. From the Ifugao tribe, also the Bulul. This is an icon used by the Ifugaos to celebrate good harvest. Of course, during Christmas, we have the parol or the lanterns. This particular parol is made of kapis shells with twinkling light designs. If you go to Lukban, Quezon, in the month of June, they have what they call the Pahiyas Festival. This is to celebrate a good harvest for the year, and they cover their houses with the different products, fruits, vegetables that they have harvested for that particular season. If you go to Paete, Laguna, they have this paper mache art which they call taka. And of course, who can forget the colorful jeepney art and also the colorful art of the Philippine kalesa and the colorful Philippine ice cream cart. This is an example of the laji of the Ivatan tribe in Batanes. This is a combination of literature and music. Of course, we have the Passion, which is celebrated during Lenten season. We will be watching a video from the Dayaw series. Dayaw is a Binisaya word that means good, valuable, superior, or beautiful. Let's watch this video. Welcome back, my fellow human beings. According to Felipe, the principle of cultural identity does not mean that cultures cannot be criticized. If all cultures on Earth are to survive, most of them have to change some of their beliefs and practices in order to become compatible with one another. So, cultural identity does not mean one culture is on top or ahead of the others. It simply means for culture to survive in this globalized world, we need to coexist with other cultures instead of competing with one another. The Philippine culture has to be dynamic in its relation with other cultures in the world. By harmonizing the Western and the Filipino concepts of art and its practice, a truly Philippine identity in the arts would emerge out of the shared cultural universe not only of our own people, but of humanity as a whole. And for this to happen, we should keep our traditional culture alive and intact while we are finding ways to harmonize with Western culture and discover a culture we could really identify with and be proud of. That ends my discussion on Module 6, the Filipino Concept of Art. For our assignment, this is an individual activity. Along the sidewalks or local shops of Metro Manila, find a native Philippine product or a work of art such as a basket, bracelet, a hat, rugs, textile, sandals, etc. Make a documentation of the artifact. Where did you buy it? How much is it? What is its local name? What is it made of? Its color, its size, and other information. And then, write a one-paragraph essay answering the question, how does this product or artifact express the Filipino concept of art? There goes another edition of The Art of Human Beings, Being Humans. Remember, being humans, we become human beings through art. Mabuhay!